How to stop being a fat fuck. And look, I'm not going to sit here and give you some ridiculous fat loss protocol, some magic supplement that you can take and tell you that you need to get into a calorie deficit and starve yourself for 12 weeks. Because losing body fat is pretty easy, okay? It's pretty simple. But the problem is that most people they have absolutely no structure behind it. You know, maybe they'll diet for a few weeks and start the week off well and then just get to the weekend and just fuck it all off again and then have the takeaways and feel guilty and then, you know, restart on Monday. And then next Monday they're doing the same, they're doing a completely different diet. They're doing some keto diet or they're doing fasting, they're doing cardio for 2 hours. Yeah, they're cutting all the macronutrients. I've done that. I'm actually going to make a video on that later this week. And there's just no direction to any of it, okay? And the first thing that you probably need to actually start doing, the first thing you actually need to sort is you need to have a fucking roadmap, okay? This is literally why with my clients inside my elite program, I literally take them through my 4-phase physique roadmap, yeah? We prime the body, we shred, we do the reverse, we do the performance. And before we even start like ripping loads of fat off someone, sometimes we need to actually prime the body first, because if you come to me and you're already eating fuck all calories, you're on 1700 calories, you're doing a load of cardio, you're barely sleeping, yeah, you're eating like a dustbin, you're training like shit, where do we go from there? Okay, like you've given yourself no room to actually pull from. So sometimes the first thing isn't, right, let's go down to 2000 calories or slash number 500 calories. It's actually just getting everything working properly for us again. Okay, we're getting your food structured, we're getting your training performance optimized, we're getting your sleep actually sorted for once. We're getting your movement nice and stabilized, nice and consistent. We're getting your recovery in a good place, getting your body just in a good position, getting everything in the green so we can actually do something with it. Yeah, that is something a lot of people that mess up, okay? We want to actually prime the body because your body adapts, yeah? And if you start eating less and doing more and eating less and doing more, eventually the returns now get smaller and smaller. And now you've got nowhere to go. You've got nowhere left to actually make adjustments, okay? And it just makes the whole process miserable. So we need to prime first, yeah? Then we shred, then we cut the body fat. I usually like to get my clients down like properly lean. You know, for a lot of the guys I work with, it's usually anywhere from 8 to 10% body fat in an ideal world. Yeah, just looking lean. Okay, better insulin sensitivity, just sharp, actual definitions, not just lose a little bit of weight. Yeah, like we want to reverse up intelligently instead of doing what most people are doing and then just constantly rebounding again and going straight back up, you know, straight increasing the food, going on an all-inclusive binge. I've done that guys. But now we're in a position, once we actually reverse up properly and we actually enter that performance phase, then we're in a better position to actually push the training up, to actually push the food up, to actually build lean tissue, okay? And we can spend the majority of the year actually building the physique rather than just constantly trying to undo another fat loss phase again and again, all right? Because you don't need to remember every phase at this point, guys. But the point is, there is some sort of route in place. There is some sort of roadmap in place. We know where you're at right now, and we know where we're literally trying to take you, okay? And we know what needs to actually happen in between them phases. Because people just say, I just want to lose a little bit of weight. Cool. That isn't a plan, yeah? Like, what does that mean? Where are we going? Where are we actually getting to, okay? I'm going to tell you now, guys, remove all limiting beliefs on yourself. Remove all doubts on yourself. Whatever society has told you were and all this, you know, that I made a video a few days ago about people carrying jackets and all this stuff. If you have a vision of the body that you actually want, and I don't care if you're a fat fuck right now watching this video, you can transform into a stud, okay? You can build an elite body, like looking like a Greek god. But that is why you need a roadmap. Otherwise, you're literally just freestyling fat loss. And that's what most people do. Yeah, they wake up every morning and they decide whether it's going to be a good day today based on how they feel, based on motivational levels. That's not a strategy, guys, okay? You need point A and you need point B. Yeah, you need an all-star vision, okay? You need to get very clear, and then you need to know the route actually between them. Because if you don't know where you're going, don't be surprised when you just end up back at the same place again, just spinning wheels for years. Okay, and I've done this for many years. Yeah, not moving forward. Okay, so it needs a strategy. Now the next thing, guys, is you need to actually cut the fat. Yeah, you need to actually cut the fat. And when I don't mean the fat around your stomach. Now this is probably going to sound horrible, but sometimes you need to actually just cut the fat around you as well. What do I mean by that? Your environment, okay? The people that you spend time with. Yeah, the habits that you're constantly being surrounded by. Because if you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to completely change yourself as a person, and everyone around you is doing the exact opposite, eventually that just rubs up on you. Yeah, so if all your mates around you are going out every weekend and they're getting on the packet and they're getting smashed and they're eating like shit and they're ordering the takeaways and they're sitting around, they're doing fuck all, they're playing Call of Duty or whatever people are playing these days, and you're just constantly in that environment, what do you actually think is gonna happen? Yeah, and obviously, don't get this twisted, guys. Like, I'm not saying that you need to be absolutely ruthless here, although sometimes you do, but you know, I'm not saying you need to cut a load of fat people out. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying fat people are bad people, even though they have put themselves in that position, in that body. But I'm talking about the habits, okay? If someone's lifestyle is representing something that you're trying to escape, that you're trying to get away from, maybe don't spend every weekend, every waking hour in that lifestyle, in that environment, okay? Because, you know, that's the reality, guys. Like, what's the saying? You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And it is so true. It is so true. That quote is facts, guys. Okay, and if everyone around you is doing something that you don't want to do, eventually that just starts becoming normal to you. That's that simple. Okay, that is the dangerous part. Someone who's going out 2-3 times a week like I used to, yeah, going to the pub, getting on the packet, getting on the pints, that's now normal. Eating like shit every night, you know, takeaway for the weekend, societal norms, that's now the normal. Doing 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day, that's now the normal. Being a fat fuck is now the normal. Yeah, but the moment you start changing, you need to realize that everyone's going to think you're weird. You're the weird one. They're going to tell you to chill out. They're going to tell you what's wrong with you. Why have you changed? When you hear why have you changed, that is good. Okay, that is great. That is a compliment. That shows growth. Yeah, so sometimes when you're on a mission with your body, with your lifestyle, with your habits, you got to cut the fat. Okay, not just off your body, but off your environment. Yeah, you don't have to announce it. You don't need to send a message to your mates like, sorry guys, I'm no longer aligned with you. You know, it doesn't align with my highest self. You don't have to be a twat like that, guys, but just spend a little bit less time in them type of environments that are literally constantly trying to drag you backwards. Okay, that is it, guys. All right, cut the fat. Now, the next thing is you need to stop making food so exciting. Okay, this is another massive one. Stop making every meal a fucking event. Okay, honestly, guys, people make food way too exciting these days. Every meal needs to be something different. Every meal needs to be some fancy spaghetti bolognese dish or some massive experience. And now, every time they're hungry, it's, what do I fancy? What should I order today? What should the recipe be that I try from the cookbook? Like, just eat for fuel. Yeah, food is fuel. Because one of the reasons that I personally find that I stay in shape year round, I stay 10 to 12% body fat year round. Yeah, I don't let myself slip. I don't let myself spill over that, guys. Is I eat a lot of the same shit at the same time every single day. Okay, and that is the facts. And that's been like that for a while. You know, this is probably the most off plan I've been. I'm currently now out in Thailand. I've moved out to Thailand. But when I get back in flow, when I get back in routine, I absolutely love it. Yeah, especially when I'm dieting, when I'm 8 to 10% body fat. I find the reason I find it so easy is because I've literally found the meals that I like, the meals that actually digest well for me, the meals that actually give me what I need, okay, actually fit into the macros I need for that phase. And then I just hit them on repeat. It's that simple, okay? You don't need 700 different meals. You just need a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner that you actually agree with, you know, some protein sources that you like. You can switch out from time to time, switch out the protein and the carb sources. You know, find the carbs you like and just keep it basic and just hit the meal plan on repeat. Okay, this is something that I recommend for my clients when they come inside Elite. And then if you want to go out for dinner or have something, you can. Yeah, go for it, like enjoy it. But your Monday to Friday should at least be on plan, on the meal plan. Okay, we don't need any of these fancy dishes. Like the higher level guys, the guys that actually stay in shape, they keep it simple. Okay, boring is actually useful. Boring is actually, you know, predictable. It's actually predictable what's going in your body, and predictable is repeatable, and repeatable is how you actually get results at the fastest rate possible, in my opinion. Okay, and that rolls straight into the next thing that we need to do. We need to be eating from whole foods. Again, this is incredibly basic, guys, but people ignore the basics because it isn't sexy. Eat actual food. Yeah, like lean meats, eggs, potatoes, fruit, vegetables, okay, yogurt, whatever you actually enjoy, whatever digests well, okay? And I'm not saying you can't I'm not saying you can't have processed food and lose weight. Like, you can. I don't ever, okay? I stick to the 100-0 rule, as everyone should be. But you want to make the dieting, especially when you're trying to lose weight, as easy as possible. You want to deliberately choose foods that actually gives you volume. Okay, you don't want to choose foods that gives you no volume and literally leaves you starving. And you also have to perform at the highest level possible. You want to have a good performance in the gym. You want to be operating like an absolute fucking machine. So you want to be eating from whole foods. And me personally, like, I'd much rather have, as a man, I'd much rather have a massive plate of food, of good quality food going into my body, the nutrients that it actually needs, and just be eating from whole foods. Okay, be adopting that whole foods lifestyle. I'm telling you, adopt that lifestyle, guys. Yeah, for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months. See how good you feel. Okay, it's like crack cocaine to the system. Okay, and I will add onto here, guys, is watch the shit around the meals that you're adding. Okay, like watch what you're adding to your meals. That is something that I didn't do. Okay, oils, sauces, random little snacks throughout the day. Yeah, little bites while you're cooking. You know, I used to be absolutely terrible for this, guys. Like, I used to be eating so-called clean, so-called healthy, but I prepped my chicken and rice, and I didn't even know like how many calories I was eating. I didn't know my macros at the time. Okay, get your macros dialed in. Like, because I wasn't losing weight, and I was so confused, guys, because I was eating, you know, the chicken and rice, the standard. But the problem was I was adding all this extra shit to my meals. Yeah, so make sure you're tracking that, guys. Make sure you're tracking the oils and stuff like that. And make sure you're eating from whole foods. And honestly, just hit the same meal plan. And yeah, trust me, guys, like, the results are going to be so much more predictable. And again, like I say, I'm actually filming this video right now. And obviously later tonight, I'm literally going for a steak. Yeah, I'm literally going to go somewhere nice. I'm going to have, you know, I'm just going to enjoy myself. Why not, guys? So you can enjoy yourself, but I don't go to the restaurant and sit there, you know, saying I'm going to have fucking lettuce and sparkling water. I'm still going to have a great night. I'm still going to have, you know, a good quality source of protein in the meal. I say optimize for protein. Make a smart decision. Yeah, actually look at the menu and think what actually makes sense here. Probably a decent, maybe lean steak, maybe salmon, maybe chicken breast, whatever's on the menu, maybe some veg, okay? Whatever's actually probably going to still fit, aligned with my current physique, with what I'm actually trying to do, with where I'm actually trying to get to. Okay, like, I'm not eating out tonight and thinking, fuck it, and then getting the bread and getting the crisps and the chips and free sauces and desserts and cocktails and all of that, guys, and then turning it into 3,000 calories. Yeah, I'm not adding it up like that. Like, you can live your life and still make good decisions, okay? And I actually think it's really useful the way you actually start looking at this, when you're going to go out, you know, whether that be with a family, think about the guy that you're trying to become. Think about that lean, aesthetic, 10% body fat version of you. Okay? Yeah, the guy who actually looks after himself. What would he pick on the menu? Probably not the cheesecake. Okay, not because he's terrified of food, and not because he's dieting 365 days of the year, but that's just how he operates. Yeah, he eats clean. He wants to feel like a machine. He actually wants to train like a savage. Okay, you start aligning your decisions with that version of yourself. Okay, and eventually you stop having to think about it. It just becomes part of your lifestyle, like I say. So for me tonight, I'm going to go out, I'm going to eat a nice fucking steak. And I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to absolutely love it. I haven't actually had steak in a while. I've cut red meats out the diet, really. Don't really know why. Again, it's just what's easy for me. And then tomorrow I'm literally going to wake up and I'm going to execute. I'm going to hit the same meal plan. I'm going to hit my macros. I'm going to hit the gym. No guilt, no cheat meals, no restarts. We don't want any of that, okay? The point is, we didn't make a decision like a fat fuck, okay? We actually made a decision like a stud, like that 10% body fat version of us. Now, also, something else I personally do when I'm dieting is I like to push my first meal back, okay? And again, before someone starts saying in the comments, breakfast is the most important meal of the day and all of this, guys, fine. If you love your breakfast, that is fine. Have your breakfast. Maybe if you train first thing in the morning, that's fair enough. If you actually perform a lot better, then eat it. I'm not saying you don't have to have breakfast, but me personally, I like to push my first meal back. Okay, I'm finding especially when I'm trying to get very lean, I like to, I don't like to eat first thing when I open my eyes. I actually just like to get my electrolytes in. I like to get my caffeine in. I like to do my first work block of the day. I actually like to be cognitively sharp in that day. Yeah, I'll happily go 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours in the morning before I actually have my first proper meal. Because I find I'm not generally that hungry in the morning, in all honesty. Okay, and that means I can obviously then have a lot more food. Like a lot more food is actually available to me when I actually want it, all right? Think about calories like money here, guys. Yeah, why would I spend loads of my budget at 4 a.m. when I wake up every morning? Okay, like, if I don't want it, there's no point. I might as well bank it, okay? I like to do my morning process. I like to go for a walk. I like to get my work done, whatever. Then when I'm hungrier later, I've got a lot more calories to actually play with. And for me, that just makes dieting a lot more easier for you guys, okay? So if you're dieting right now, that is what I highly recommend. And obviously, I'm not saying you need to start looking for the perfect diet either. The fat loss, there isn't a perfect diet. It's that simple. Just start figuring out a diet that you can actually stick to. It's that simple, the amount of meals throughout the day, the meal quality, the meal time, and all of that, guys, it plays a big role, okay? Now, this brings me on to the next thing, which is actually a habit-based hack I recommend. Guys, it's sweating in here. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video yesterday, but it's hot. But guys, the next habit is walking. Okay, I absolutely love walking. In my opinion, this is honestly one of the most underrated fat loss tools there is, because everyone says they want something fancy. What cardio should I do? What zone should my heart rate be in a fat loss phase? Like, what machine should I use and all of this? Like, guys, just move more. Okay, you got 2 legs, use them. Yeah, walk loads. Like, it's so easy, it's so enjoyable. You don't need to destroy your recovery. You can actually do it every single day. You can take calls, whether that be for work or on your break, or listen to an audio book. Me personally, I actually like to think. I get a lot of my ideas from walking. And you can rack up a massive amount of activity throughout the week, without feeling like you're just constantly having to do cardio. Okay, if you're someone who's currently doing 3,000, 4,000 steps a day right now, and you're wondering why you're not losing the body fat, you just need to move more, okay? Maybe you don't need to slash another 500 calories. Maybe you just need to actually move and actually just get outside and actually get some morning sunlight. Go for a walk after them meals, actually let your body digest. That is another habit that I highly recommend. Okay? It's that simple. Make movement actually part of your lifestyle. All right, become the bloke who literally walks everywhere. That's what I usually do. Me personally, I think a good amount is 10 to 15K a day. I'd say that's a pretty good number, especially to start with. But you don't need to destroy yourself with running every single day, okay? That's something that I've done for years. Again, if you enjoy running, then keep it in, but just move a lot more. Just get your walking in consistently, okay? It adds up. And obviously, we then need to build now a better engine in, okay? We need to actually start strength training. Yeah, if you're not strength training right now, we need to actually build some muscle, because if your only goal right now is weight loss, you're missing the point here. Okay, you don't want to become a smaller, more depleted version of yourself. Yeah, you actually want to look in the mirror and think, yeah, what a stud, guys. Okay, you want to actually look good when the fat comes off. Yeah, this is the point that most people miss. This is when they fuck up, guys. They diet, they lose loads of weight. And then they finally get lean, they finally see the outline of their abs, and they think, why do I still look like shit? Why do I still feel a bit skinny fat? Two things here, guys. Okay, you've either gone way too aggressive off the bat. I didn't have a clear roadmap in place. I've been there. Okay, or two, sorry to break your ego, guys, but the reality is you don't have anything underneath. All right, you haven't actually built anything. So you need to actually build muscle. All right, you need to actually build the body up. You need to actually construct a physique, because the destination isn't just, yeah, lose a bit of weight, get to skinny fat. The destination is actually to build a lean, aesthetic body and look like the guys in the movies, okay? That is the reality, guys. That is what every guy wants. It's that simple. And I'd much rather, you know, teach somebody to actually build a bigger engine than to teach them to become incredible at actually just starving themselves, okay? So actually start training properly, actually start hitting the weights, actually start hitting the gym, get a structured program in place. 4 to 5 training sessions a week is enough. Yeah, get stronger, actually build some muscle, move more, and through that you can actually eat more food, become a lot more active human being, okay? Build a body that you can actually use food for, okay? And just build it into a lifestyle, guys. Yeah, see fitness as a lifestyle, and then from there you actually got something to actually reveal when that fat actually finally comes off. Okay, you're not dieting just to become a breadstick. So you're losing fat to literally build a physique, guys. Okay, so if you're not lifting the weights right now, start lifting the weights. All right, start getting in the gym. It's that simple, guys. Now the next thing I have here, sleep. Okay, this is probably one of the biggest ones that I personally didn't. I fucked up over the years. I massively underestimated sleep, as a lot of people do, I think. As it's not, you know, it doesn't sound exciting, and nobody wants to hear it. But go to bed earlier, okay? They want some secret, but just get sleep, guys. Get sleeping, all right? If your sleep's shit right now, you're making everything harder. You're waking up tired. Your training's worse. You're stalling fat loss. You're slowing down fat loss. You're making it harder. You know, you're making your cravings go up, guys. You've got less patience now. And now what happens when you have shit sleep? Suddenly, ordering more food, that now becomes the easiest option in the world, easiest decision in the world. And then you just end up blaming yourself for having no discipline. Like, you slept 5 hours, okay? You've literally just been fighting an uphill battle all day. So the reality is, you win tomorrow the night before, okay, by actually getting some sleep. You don't need some ridiculous night biohack routine. You just need to get the basics locked in, yeah? Have some kind of normal bedtime. Go to bed at the same time. Wake up at the same time, okay? Stop smashing the caffeine at stupid times during the day. Actually just get off your phone. You know, that last hour, that last 2 hours before you go to bed, read, meditate, actually just wind down properly. Yeah, maybe get into a darker room. All right, give yourself enough time to actually sleep. Yeah, I'm talking 7, even 9 hours a night. Okay, that alone, that's gonna make everything a lot easier when it comes to actually fat loss. And also, me personally, I actually like to take my ashwagandha, my zinc, my magnesium. Okay, I don't actually have it with me. I didn't actually bring it to Thailand. I'm not sure I can actually get it out here, but I think the one I used in the UK was Strom something. I can't remember. Strom Support, I think. But again, that's not essential. Yeah, just get a sleep schedule in place first, guys. That's the main thing. But then you can add things to make the 10% difference, okay? And finally, guys, the last thing. I think you actually need to realize here that I was actually briefly going to touch on, sorry, I zoned out there, is you're going to fuck up sometimes. Like, you just are. You're going to eat more than planned. You're going to maybe sometimes miss the training, maybe due to travel. You know, I'm struggling to find a gym out here at the moment. You know, the last 2 days I haven't actually trained properly. You're going to maybe go on holiday from time to time with the missus, whatever. Okay, you'll have meals and think, yeah, I probably overdid that. You're human. Okay, who cares? Yeah? The issue isn't that one meal. The issue is when one meal now becomes 3 days or an entire week. All this all or nothing mindset. Okay, you have one bad dinner and then suddenly, oh, well, I've completely messed up now. You haven't. You had a burger. Okay, you haven't erased 3 months of progress of actually hitting the plan. You actually do need to stay consistent from time to time, but you need to stop turning these little mistakes that you make into 1 month. Okay, one meal is one meal. One missed meal is one missed meal. One missed session is one missed session. That's it, guys. Next, move on. Next day, back on it. Yeah, we get back on it. It's that simple. We align with that highest version of ourselves. We align with that stud version of ourselves, okay? There doesn't need to be some dramatic restart every single time. Life happens. Shit's gonna happen. It's life, guys. This is why you need structure in place, okay? You need structure to your week. You need a roadmap. Because when you actually got a roadmap in place, going slightly off course, it doesn't mean the entire journey is over, okay? You get back on the road straight away. Okay, it's that simple, guys. Like I say, if you're looking at everything in the video now, guys, like I say, nothing of this is revolutionary, okay? Know where you're going. Have a roadmap in place. Look at the people, look at the habits around you right now, and just simplify your foods. Yeah, start eating from actual foods that are going to make you feel quality. And actually just start making smart decisions on a daily basis. All right, keep the basics in place. That is it, guys. People constantly trying to look for some new tactic, some new diet, some new supplement. There's no secret, guys. Okay, get the basics locked in. It's that simple, guys. Okay, like, that's the only way you're going to get lean. That's the only way you're going to build a great body. You don't need another tactic. You need a system, a map. Okay, if this is something that you're actually interested in, there is a link to my one-to-one physique coaching down below. Okay, this is where we obviously set out the training, the nutrition, the habits. We get everything structured in place. But guys, I hope you took some value from this video. Like I say, there's going to be a lot more coming. If you've got any questions, you can find me a message over on my Insta, Charlie Crawley Fit. But let's go, guys.